Las Vegas condos, Las Vegas townhomes. What's happened with them is a market over the course of 2023. Well, we're 3/4 of the way through the year. We've just finished September, so we have just finished with quarter 3. And as we enter quarter 4 here at the beginning of October, let's take a look. Let's see how well these submarkets for housing are holding up. Las Vegas resale condos and Las Vegas resale townhomes. So I am Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. At the Chong Miller Group, we help people buy and sell homes, primary homes, secondary homes, vacation homes, investment properties. We help people build wealth through real estate. Please reach out, give us a call, send us an email. We'd love to be able to help you. And let's go ahead and dive into some of the information right now regarding these two submarkets of multifamily housing. This video was recorded on October 7th with data pulled from the multiple listing service on October 7th. We look backwards in time at the data for September of 2023, comparing that with August of 2023 for month-over-month comparisons and September of 2022 for year-over-year comparisons. So condo pricing, resale condos in Las Vegas, $230,000 at the median. That's a closed price, not listing price, but closed price, what they actually sold for in September of 2023. That number is down 2% from $234,750 at the end of August of 2023. But interestingly, the number is up 1.3% from the $227,000 that we saw at the end of September of 2022. Now, single-family homes, by comparison, were exactly flat with where they had been 12 months ago. Condos are actually up 1.3% or $3,000 from where they had been 12 months ago. So that's actually really good news. I suggested last month that we were likely to see this turnaround occur in September of 2023. Now, that's price. That tells us something about where transactions are taking place in the market. I don't mean geographically where, but I mean in that sort of market space where buyers and sellers are coming together and saying, yes, I'm agreeable, I want this deal. Okay, so that's great. Well, let's now look at the demand side of the market. How many condos sold? A condo doesn't sell if there's no demand. So you need to have a buyer who wanted it at that price, who said, yes, here I am, let me buy it from you. So that's representational of demand. 308 condos sold in September of 2023. Now that is down, it's down 1.9% from the 314, down 6 condos that we saw sold in August of 2023. So that's pretty close to flat. It is actually up 12.8% from the 273 condos that we saw sold in September of 2022. So it suggests great strength relative to where we were last year at this time, which is definitely really good news. Last year was relatively weak, certainly in terms of transaction volume. And so sold numbers down 1.9% month over month, but up 12.8% year over year. Now there's another way to, or another piece of data that looks at demand, and that is pending contracts. Pending contracts, buyer and seller have agreed they want the transaction, they want it at this particular price, these particular terms, but the contract is not yet closed, so the transaction is not completed. Rather, we're going through inspection, we're going through appraisal, we're going through loan underwriting, we're going through all of those things that are required to be completed before the actual transfer of the property. That's referred to as an escrow or as a pending contract. So pending contracts in September of 2023, 296 pending contracts on resale condos in the Las Vegas Valley in September of 23. Now this number looks less good, certainly by comparison. This is down 9.8% from the 328 condo pending contracts in August of 2023, but it is up 8.8% from the 272 pending contracts that were written in September of 2022. So generally speaking, this demand picture then is not incredibly strong, but certainly not showing a great deal of weakness either. Actual closed down 1.9%, actual pendings down 9.8%, but year over year, both of those numbers are up. So that's good news. If you go look at the single family market update video, I talk extensively about interest rates and how interest rates are definitely impacting this market. And so given the high level of interest rates right now, and in fact, increasing level of interest rates in the market right now, these demand numbers are actually pretty good for us. So no bad news on this. Now, what about supply? Supply, 672 condos for sale sitting in the inventory pool at the end of September of 2023. This number is down 2.6% from the 690. It's down 18 units from what we had seen at the end of August. I suggested in last month's video, market update video, that we were likely seeing a stabilization of the inventory, and that's what we've got here. Is we're down 2.6%, but this is a real weakening of the downtrend that we had in place over the past 11 months. And so we're down very marginally here. To give you an idea of how big this downtrend had been, 12 months ago, September of 2022, we had 1,340 condos in inventory waiting to be sold. We're down 49.9%, basically half of that number. By the way, that number last September, that was peak inventory. So we had gotten to peak inventory in September of 2022. That was in the condo space, a little above normal, but not dramatically above normal. Well, we're down by half, right? We're sitting under half of normal inventory in this market. Of course, inventory gets replenished with newly listed resale condos. What do those numbers look like? 401 for September of 2023. That is down 4.8% from the 421 in August of 2023. It is down 9.5% from the 443 that we saw last September 2022. So these numbers are below average, and they're clearly not strong enough to hold our inventory stable. We're still coming down, but not at a rapid pace right now. Inventory down 2.6%. Now, one other comment here, back on market, 115 condos that had gone into pending status fell out and came back into the market last month in September. That is 27.2% of contracts that were written failed for various reasons, mostly because of bad appraisals, but various reasons. And that happens to be down a little bit from the 35.5% last month. This is still very elevated. This is still running double of what's normal in the marketplace. So back on market is occurring. It's occurring between a quarter and a third of contracts, depending on the particular month, across all housing submarkets. This is something really important to keep in mind. If you're a buyer or a seller, you want to make sure you're working with an agent who can help you figure out where the risk is to a contract and draw up contingencies around that to help keep the contract together so you can get through it. No one wants to be part of a failed contract because it means starting over, right? You put in all the time, you put in all the effort, you put in the expenses, and you get to go start over. or lick your wounds and go away, right? So you want to do everything you can to make sure you're working with someone who knows how to deal with these issues, to do the most that can be done to protect contracts, to keep them going and closing. All right. So again, I am Justin Miller with the Chong Miller Group. Please smash the notification bell, smash the like button, subscribe if you've not already, and if you have friends, neighbors, colleagues, coworkers, family members who you think might benefit from the statistics, the kind of information, the kind of processing that we do at the Chong Miller Group, please put them in touch with us. At least share the videos so they can contact us. Thank you. All right, on to townhomes, the second major category for multifamily housing here in the Las Vegas Valley. What went on in the townhome resale space here in Las Vegas in September of 2023? Price, $320,000. Interestingly, this was flat from the $320,000 that we saw in August of 2023. So no change in townhome pricing. We are up 1.6% from where we were at $315,000 September of 2022. Now, again, this is as compared to condos, we're up 1.3% year over year, townhomes up 1.6%, and single family homes, we were flat year over year. So we're showing some relative strength on pricing in the townhome market. That strength, however, does not carry over to the actual demand side numbers. So let's take a look at this because it's kind of interesting. 185 townhomes closed in September of 2023. That number is down significantly. It's down 22.9% from the 240. It's down 55 townhomes, down 22.9% from August of 2023. It's also down from what we saw last year when demand clearly was weak. We're down 14.4% from 216. Now, that's perhaps a little bit concerning. I've been saying in condos, I also was able to say it with single family homes, we've not seen a big drop off in the closed measures. Now, there is another way to look at demand, and let's look at that before we start jumping to any conclusions, and that is pending contracts. Contracts have been written that have not yet closed. Townhome pendings for September of 2023, 213. That's up. It's up 16.4% from the 183 that we saw in August of 2023. So that's actually very encouraging. And we're up 21% from the 176 that we saw in September of 2022. So again, very encouraging. So if we look at it sort of closed and pendings together for the month of September of 2023 for townhomes, I don't think there's any actual discouraging news. I think we've just seen some townhomes may have taken a little bit longer to close and shifted into the following month. I think actually we saw in the August data that there had been some townhome closings that may have pulled forward. And so we just simply see a little bit of a transference between months with regard to the September data. So something to pay attention to. We have seen townhomes being a little bit of a leading indicator here. And so to the extent that sales have fallen off, a little concerning to the extent that actually pending contracts are not falling off, but rather they're increasing pretty decently. I think that that's actually encouraging. So in combination, I think what we've got is a stable demand profile in this marketplace. Now, what about supply? Number of townhomes sitting in the market ready to be sold. 463. This is down 2.5% from the 475 that we saw in August of 23. Now, this actually is the second month of stability here in the townhome inventory space. So I had pointed out last month that we actually started to see stability as inventory went up very slightly in the townhome space in August of 2023. So yes, we're down very slightly right now. We're down 8 units. So that's not a big drop in inventory. I think we're seeing that stability. So this is the second month of stabilizing the inventory in the townhome space. Now we are down 50.8% from the 942 that we saw last year. That gives you a really good indication of how dramatically inventory levels have been falling over this past year. For 11 months, really big declines, and now we're seeing stability. So that's actually a really good and encouraging thing, because we need the product for sale. And townhomes are clearly an area where there's significant demand. If we don't have townhomes to sell, we have significant pricing pressures in this marketplace. So I think this is actually a really encouraging sign. Now, what about new inventory? Newly listed resale townhomes coming into the market and replacing product that either gets sold or goes into contract or drops out of the market entirely. 300 newly listed resale townhomes. That's good. It's up 4.5% from the 287 newly listed that we had seen in August of 2023. But I will point out that even with that 4.5% increase in newly listed, it was not enough to hold inventory completely stable. We did come down 2.5% on the overall inventory numbers. So this is encouraging, but it's not a complete solution in place, at least not yet. Now we are down 11.2% from the 338 townhomes that came into the market in September of 2022. So clearly this is not enough to be growing inventory, but it's pretty close to enough to hold inventory levels stable. So what does this mean? It means that we've got significant indicators of good demand in this market, and we've got significant indicators of flat, slightly declining levels of inventory in this market. Now, I do want to point out something that's kind of interesting here between condos and townhomes. And in fact, if you go back and look at the single family market update as well, you'll see it there. I talk about it there as well. Is that we saw in September of 2022, pricing actually come down $3,000 on single family homes. Pricing went up $3,000 on condos. Pricing went up $5,000 on townhomes. I suggested in the single family home video that we actually were seeing, if we looked on a price per foot number for those sales that closed, we were actually seeing that the top 3/4 of the market seemed to be doing fine, all holding stable amongst the other indicators, where the bottom quartile of the market was the most challenged. So the bottom quartile of the market for single family homes is something in the high 300s. Here, obviously in townhomes, we're at 320. In condos, we're at 230. We're a little bit of a different pricing strata. And so what we're actually seeing is among those who are looking to buy, it's sort of those people who are in the smaller single family home space right now, the less expensive single family home space right now. They're the ones who are being most impacted by increasing interest rates, where we've seen interest rates really go up over this past couple of months, and obviously dramatically over where we were 1 year ago and 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, we were looking at mortgage interest rates, 30-year fixed rate mortgages, just below 3%. 1 year ago, 5.33%. At the end of September of 2023, 7.47%. And the first week of October, we're actually looking at 7.53%. Interest rates are way elevated relative to what they had been for years and years. In fact, mortgage interest rates are the highest they've been since 2007. So if you think about it in that regard, with very high mortgage interest, and I want to correct that, it's not very high, with high mortgage interest rates, relatively to where they were, very high. Overall, not very high, but high mortgage interest rates. We're seeing stable demand as measured in sales and pendings. We're seeing very low inventory. And as we start to see sometime within the next 1 or 2 months, interest rates stabilize and start to come down, we're going to see demand reemerge in this market at a rate that's faster than supply, which is going to push prices higher, considerably higher, and relatively quickly. So one other piece of information for townhomes: 97 back on market this month. That means that 34.4% of all townhome contracts written came back into the market. They failed. There's a lot of reasons. Well, there's not. There's a few reasons why contracts are failing at very high, elevated rates. The primary one is bad appraisals, but you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those things that are likely to induce contract failure, and work with someone who's seen this, who's working in this environment at a pace that's fast enough to be able to know why these things are happening, how to fix these things so that they don't happen to you. Okay, I am Justin Miller. Again, please share these videos with your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, your family members, anyone you think might benefit from this information and benefit from talking to us. Please reach out with any questions or comments you have. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.